Hey folks, Dave here. I appreciate you stopping by for a new video, and I hope everyone's doing well today. So recently I posted a video for Mother's Day just titled Gift Number 1. And we cut out a mason jar and some engraved flowers and then put some real flowers in it. We're going to do something similar but not quite the same. Since mothers are so special, I thought we ought to give it another try. So here's what we're going to make. Okay, well, we're going to start by making the flower petal. And we're going to go over and grab a polygon, shift, and just draw out a perfect hexagon. Click the selector tool. You can see the controller here on top where you can change the shape, and we need a triangle. You also have the shape properties tab, and if you don't have that, just go up to window and down to shape properties and put a check and you'll be alright. So we're going to squeeze this up, and we're not measuring anything right now. We'll measure as we go, as we need to. So we're going to go up with it selected up to a range, and we're just going to flip vertically. Then we're going to go to Tools and down to Deform Selection, 16 points. And then we're going to grab these corners and just kind of pull down and in and make it look more like a flower petal. And then click Selector, and there we go. There's our petal. So we're going to use the Circular Array tool. So we're going to grab a circle and just make us a pivot point, because with the Circular Array tool, the last item you select becomes your pivot. So we're just going to touch that into the petal we made. We're going to select the petal, shift, and select the circle, and then go over to the Circular Array tool. Okay, we've got 9 of those in there because that's what I used earlier. But you can put as many as you want until it looks just like what you want it to look like. And that is a pretty good looking flower. So I'm going to click OK. That's 24. But it's going to depend on how wide you make that initial petal, and you can get all sorts of different looking creations out of this Circular Array tool. I've got a video done a while back on it, and I'll drop a link down in the description, and you can check that out. Alright, clicking OK. Now everything is grouped together, but I'm going to ungroup it real quick. I'm going to grab a petal. I'm just going to duplicate it, pull it out, and put it off to the side, because I got a habit of messing up doing this. And I hate to do a bunch of backing up when if I'd have just done the right thing to start with and saved one. So now I'm going to group this back together. And then we're going to make it a little smaller. And then we're going over to the Offset tool with it selected and click Offset. So I'm going to back off of that a little bit. So I've got it offset by 2 millimeters outward and round. So we're going to click that and see what it looks like underneath. That looks good. So we just want to be able to set a engrave for it, something like that. And then we want to check the preview and see if it looks the way we want it to look. And I've got it on another screen like normal, and that's what it's going to look like. And if sometimes you don't get that preview, if you're all solid, it could be because there's another layer on top of it, or something just went haywire. So if that happens to you, so let me back up. I'm backing up with Control Z to the point that we have no color. Control Z is your friend. I know it's mine. So you can get in close, select your background, shift, select everything else, and then you can click your engrave, and then you're okay. But just keep working at it until you get it exactly the way you want it. Now I'm going to take away the engrave because we've got to weld a stem onto this, and if you engrave before you complete all of your weldings, then it'll turn everything into the engrave. We get there, folks. Okay, so now we want to we'll go ahead and make the vase. And we're going to do the vase in 3 pieces. I'm going to drag this flower all the way over here out of the way. We're going to do this vase in 3 pieces, so the centerpiece will be hollow, and we can set stem flowers down inside of it. So we're just going to grab a square and just draw out a rectangle, drop it, and click your selector tool. And then we're going to go up top for a width of 100 millimeters. Make sure your lock is off, and then we'll do a height of 150. And then we want to select everything, and then go over to your Shape Properties tab, and you have corner radius here. We're going to round these corners off, and we're just going to go up to a radius of about 20, and that should be fine. So then you want to select it and go up to Tools and down to Deform, and then we're just going to pull these top 2 in a little bit. The same distance would be a good thing, but I'm just eyeballing it. So you can you could make a tool. You could do a square, make a tool, and make it however long you wanted it, and then you could have a guide kinda to do that with. That's almost straight. Almost. Let me pull it back out a little bit. There we go. That looks better. Okay, so we've got a back, a middle, and a front. So I'm just going to duplicate. I know I could use the array, but usually if it's just a couple, and then uh-oh. I know I hit duplicate. I still think there's an extra one on there, but that's okay. Ah, there it is. All right, we'll use it since it's there. So get you another one, because we're going to remove part of this center one so we can put the stem flowers down in it. So when you're subtracting, excuse me, when you're subtracting, you want to select the item you're subtracting from, shift, select the item you want to subtract, and you can do it over here, but ever since I found this Boolean Assistant, I've been using it because you can check and see what the result's going to be, and that is the one we want. So now we got to make some stems for the flower, and when you're making the stems, you have to make sure, we're going to do about 3 of them. So you would want to make sure that your distance here is but you don't exceed this distance when you put your stems inside. And if you needed to measure that, you could go over here and click a ruler, and you can see these are the segment lengths for that. So if we go here, well, since that one don't want to do quite right, we're just going to drag. You can click, left click, and drag a line over to the other side. So you can see that segment length is 38.36 millimeters. Now this is a super handy tool, and I do have a video on that, and I'll drop a link down in the description, and you can check that out if you like. Okay, so let's make a stem for the flower, and we can do that with just grabbing a square and just draw out what looks like a stick. Alright, then click your selector tool. We're going to use the node tool, so you want to right click and go down to convert to path. Click that, and then you want to check this stick before we put nodes on it and see if that's going to work. We'll make it a tad longer, and 6 millimeter width is fine. We know we can't go over 11 because of our measurement, so 6 is fine because we're going to put 3 stems. Now we're going to duplicate and keep one of these as a straight stem, so Control D, and then we're going to need 2 stems that are going to be bent. So we're going to select, we're going to go over to nodes, and you need to add some nodes in to be able to bend this stick. So to do that, if you scroll over the node tool, you can see that if you use the letter I, it'll insert a node. So that's what we're going to do. We want to bend the top of this stick. So we're going to hover over at just a point. I'm not measuring, and I'm going to hit the letter I. There's a node. On the other side, letter I. So what that will do is now we can grab this top node and we can bend that stick. We can grab the other side and bend it over to meet it. And there we go. Now we have a bent stick. And we're going to put it on this flower on the backdrop of the flower. So we want to ungroup the flower, and we want to grab the backdrop. That's probably the easiest way to do it. It's just click the edge and get it out of there. And we're going to put it on this stick. But first we kind of want to size it up. This is the actual size up here of our vase. So you want to grab the stick, set it in there, and then you want to grab your backdrop and put it up here and see if it looks about the right size. So it could be maybe a tad smaller. So I will make it a tad smaller. And I should have put this in there before I resized it, but I think we'll be okay, because this is what's going to give us our engraving on the flower. Okay, so now we can just select these two together and then click weld. And there's our flower. And now we can duplicate that. Control D. Uh-oh. Something ain't right. Let me go Control Z. Let's try it again. I'm just going to pull it out of the way because something didn't happen right. It must have latched into the vase. Alright. Control D. There we go. Pull it out and then go up to arrange, and we're going to flip horizontally so we'll have one for the other side. Then we're going to grab the flower and get it sized up. If I'm rambling too much, I'm sorry, but I'm having to think this through because I've done it once and the flower doesn't look anything like this. It looks something totally different. I would show you, but you'd laugh. Alright, so now we've got it the right size we want it. We're going to group that together. We're going to set it as an engrave. And then we're going to do offset on it so we can get our color back. And it will stay the same. Click OK. Then we're going to group everything together. And then we're going to duplicate that. So we'll have one for the other flower here. And this one will go here. I know this seems painful, but as smart as Lightburn is, it still requires a lot of work to figure out these tools and all the little nuances of the things that you want to do with it. So now we're going to group each of these together individually. So now these will set inside like that. And in the center, we're going to make a heart and put on this that will set above these flowers that look like windmills, but they're flowers. Okay, so to make a heart, we could go download one, but we won't. We'll just make one. So draw out a circle. Selector tool, make it a line. Duplicate, and then pull this out to where the top looks like a heart. And then you can select one, select the other, go up to horizontal center, click that, and it'll pull it up. So as long as it looks like a heart on the top, to you, you're okay. Then we'll go grab the polygon again, draw out a hexagon, click the selector tool, and we will make another triangle. Go up to arrange, flip vertical, and then I hope I don't have this behind my head over there. Then you want to bring this over. Let me get it in close. Bring this over to the edge and try to get it as close to the edge as possible. There you go. And then stretch it out until the other side touches. There we go. And then squeeze that bottom up a little bit so it looks more like a heart. But it's got to come down low enough that you don't have anything showing here. So it's got to stretch out enough, or either the circle has to go in. But you can work with either one to make sure your heart doesn't look weird. And I think we're okay. Then you can select all of them together and go over and click weld. And now we have a heart. You can squeeze it up a little more if you need to. And then what we're going to do is offset that. And we're going to pull that out. This backdrop will go on to this stem here. If I'm going too fast or not making sense, when I get done, just send me all the questions you want in the comments and I will get you an answer. If I need to do it again or do it different, I'll do that too. Okay, so that's about right for the stem. So you can just set that heart on the stem. And then you can select both of those and click weld. Or you could have went to the Boolean Assistant and done union, or you could have clicked union right here. Alright, so now we'll take this one, we'll offset again, and then we will make it an engrave, group it together. We're going to make it a little smaller so we can set it right here. And then we're going to duplicate it, Control D, pull it out, make it a little smaller, and then we're going to center it. And you can see how that snapped into the center. And if your items don't snap, you can go up to your settings and just make sure that Snap to Object, Snap to Grid is on. And there is a, with version 1.5, they released some new alignment tools, and which makes the snap stickier. It will snap from further away. So I'll drop a link to that video down in the description, and if you get a chance, check that out. And again, ask all the questions you would like. So we're going to lock this together, group it. So now that's grouped, and this will set right here. We can get rid of this pedal now. We don't need it. So, but if you have spare, you know, if you remember to put a few items off to the side, it'll be helpful. So now we'll write something on here, and we would just say for Mom, something. You write whatever you would like, and we're going to use the just like in the last video, we're going to use the Academy engraved font, and I'll put a link to where you can download it down in the description. But like I said in the last video, I could not confirm the license for it, so as far as I know, it's for personal use. You may find something on the website, but I'll put the link and let you do the research, and hopefully it works out. It's a good font though, because it can you can do a line and it looks like an engrave when it's done. So we'll put Mom on here. And maybe, I guess we could put a heart on there. Let's grab a heart. We'll grab one of these hearts. And we will just ungroup it. Grab a heart out of the middle, duplicate, pull it out, And we'll engrave a heart on there. All right. I think we're getting there. All right, folks, I hope that wasn't too painful. So we have the field set for 80/40 speed and power. We also have the line set for 80/40. So we can see how Mom comes out with the Academy engraved font. And that is it. So let me get set up in the laser, and we'll get this cut out and see what it looks like. Okay, folks, I'll be right back. Okay, we're ready to cut this out. It's going to take 2 pieces of the 3mm. So we're going to cut the vases first, and then we'll come back and cut the flowers. And then we'll jump back into Lightburn and make a base out of some 5mm. So I believe it's going to be a little top heavy, and I want to see before we cut the base to make sure I cut something large enough. Okay, folks, we'll send the code over and get this cut out. Okay, well, we're going to jump back into Lightburn and make a base for this. So now that we have the flowers and the vase cut, we can make a base for it. But we needed to get those cut so we would know how large the base needed to be. So to determine that, we're just going to grab a square, draw out a rectangle on the bottom, turn that into a tool, and we're using 5mm plywood, so we're going to make this height 5mm, and this length we need to make it, and the 5mm just so we can determine the length of the slot, which appears to be 87.953. Now you could also have clicked the ruler and then scrolled over it, and the portion that turns purple, 87.95. That is a pretty handy tool. Okay, so now we're going to just pull that down. That's going to be our slot. But now we've got to compensate for the width of the full piece. And we use 3 pieces of 3mm plywood. And you would think that would be 9mm thickness, but it's not. So it's 7.8. But we're just going to make the slot 7. Sorry for the whistling. I don't know what's going on. We're going to make the slot 7 and let kerf take care of the rest. We're going to turn this into a cut. And if you don't know what kerf is, it's the amount of material that's removed by your laser above and beyond what you specify. And most lasers are different. It's like running a saw blade through a piece of wood. The amount that blade cuts out, your laser does the same thing. Okay, so now for the full base, we're going to get another square. We're going to make that 150 by 50, and there is no science behind that. That's just me guessing. Then we're going to go over to the Shape Properties tab, and we're going to round off these corners to make it look a little better. Then we're going to select our slot, shift and select the rest of the base, hit the bullseye, and then we're going to group that together right here on the top, but you could have done it right here. And then we are going to go back to the laser, cut this out and put everything together and see what that looks like. Okay, folks, be right back. Okay, so I got some Christmas scrap left over here, and it's the 5mm Luan plywood. It's typically used for floor underlayment. You can pick it up at your local hardware store, and it is a really good material for using on your laser. So we'll cut this out, put everything together, and see what it looks like. Okay, we'll put everything together and see what it looks like. Well, here is our finished project. It turned out pretty good. I know it took a while to get there, but we used some techniques that'll be helpful in future projects. So the 3 vase pieces I just glued together with some wood glue. The flowers, the stems, just slide right down in the opening that we made, and it snapped into the base since we adjusted for kerf. So it's scary to think how good this could look if I actually knew what I was doing. So you folks can use your imagination and give it a try, make it even better. And I really appreciate you folks taking time to watch. It does help the channel grow. It gives me incentive to make more videos, so I really appreciate it. I'll drop links to any videos that I mentioned, plus links to our projects and tutorials. And if you get a chance to check those out, if you have any questions, just let me know. I don't sleep a lot, so I can be up answering questions instead of sleeping. You folks check back often for new videos. Take care, and we'll see y'all next time. Thank you.